Hey, what's up everyone? Super excited today to welcome you to a brand new YouTube mini-series. This one's called Facing Fear. We announced this series with my friend Michael Souza on the podcast a while back. This series is all about breaking down skill sets and breaking down those big, scary goals, those goals that feel too far out of our reach and perhaps elicit emotions such as fear and anxiety when we think about that end goal. This video series is really going to be all about the process behind breaking down those goals. So I'm going to be working with numerous coaches and using numerous different facilities to help break down some goals that are big and scary for me and potentially in the future, perhaps big and scary for some of my clients or perhaps other coaches that I'm connected with. So the basic scope of this first one is I would like to learn how to backflip to dirt. That's my plan. And I would like to do it by end of August this summer. Now, even just in saying that, you can probably sense the hesitation there. I'm scared. This one really scares me. Obviously, I've been mountain biking for 10 to 12 years. I've been coaching for 7 of that. I feel pretty good in, steep technical terrain. I feel pretty good on the bigger jumps these days. So I did think about, what are some of my goals? And I still have goals in relation to, jump in, hip jumps, whips, or even some of the steeper, more technical slabs and drops, things like this. But I thought, what's something that's, a little more out of the box, a little more scary, that I can really challenge myself to find the right resources and find the right process and be able to break that down so that I can hopefully achieve this goal in a really safe way and at a speed and a timeline that feels good for me as well. I want this to be fun. So that brings us to today, session 1. I've connected with a really awesome local business here in Squamish called Airhouse. Airhouse is a freestyle facility. They have a whole bunch of trampolines and equipment, as well as some expert coaches, and they coach groups of kids, groups of big kids, and also private lessons, which is what I'm going to be doing today. Anything from freestyle skiing, mountain biking, gymnastics, and just general fun on the trampolines. So super stoked to be working with a coach called Ryan there today. Ryan is a downhill mountain biker, a freestyle skier, and also an expert in coaching airtime and tricks. So today's going to be session 1. I'm going to learn how to do a backflip on a trampoline. It's not something I've ever done before. I think the closest I got was as a kid was bouncing onto my back and then doing a bit of a flip from there. I've never had the confidence or the courage to actually do it from my feet before. So I'm really interested to see how Ryan breaks it down. And I think this is a good first start because for me, I don't feel too scared about today's session. I'm actually just really excited about it. Whereas if I think to the end goal, doing a backflip to dirt, I'm like, no way, that's still way too far out there. So from here, the basic plan is to break it down. I'm going to be working with Michael Souza, who's not only an expert mountain biker and an expert mountain bike coach, who does all sorts of different coaching in the Whistler Bike Park and on the valley trails in Whistler. He's also been working closely with the Whistler Airbag for the last couple of years with Lisa Mason there at Whistler Mountain Airbag. And he teaches everything from flips, whips to backflips and other airtime tricks that I don't even know the name of. So I'm super excited to be working with Mike on this one as well. With no further ado, let's get into session 1 at Airhouse Squamish. See you there. It's fantastic, guys. We're here at Airhouse Squamish. Airhouse is a freestyle sports training facility. I'm here with Paul. Paul's going to take us on a bit of a walk through and show us what this place is all about. But this is going to be ground zero of going from zero to backflip, which is my big scary goal that I'm breaking down into steps using facilities and using professional coaches. Okay, Paul, take it away.
Sweet, yeah, I'll give you guys a little walk through the facility. On the right here, we have our spring floor area. We have some gymnastics equipment, some blocks for parkour as well, bars, beams, and then other equipment that is useful for teaching trampoline skills. Here to the right as well, we got our wall trampoline setups. So we have our small area where you can jump off onto the trampoline and learn wall tramp skills. And we also have our higher ledges, so people will actually do flips up and down to the big wall there. And facing over this way, we have 2 more Olympic trampolines at the back, as well as we have snowboard addiction snowboards and ski addiction skis back there to practice all your ski and snowboard tricks. Got some trampoline bikes as well for some extra fun. And then this trampoline here is our Tramp, and it's a quad trampoline, we'd call it. It's super bouncy, but it's also really soft. So it's better if you're gonna take a bail to be on one of these than on one of the Olympics or the Super Tramp. So I'll tell you guys a little bit about the Super Tramp. This trampoline right here is our bounciest trampoline by far. And we actually require people to take a test to go on it, just to make sure if they do go on it and take a fall, that they do have the proper bailouts to land safely. And yeah, on this tramp, you can bounce almost all the way to the roof, and you could do doubles, triples, quads, anything you want really. And the final area on the floor over here is in the back corner. We have a mini ramp, and it's a good place to learn some beginner skate tricks.
Awesome, guys. So I'm here with Ryan today at Airhouse. Ryan's going to be my coach, taking me from zero to backflip, I hope, on a trampoline. Super excited. Ryan's also a downhill mountain biker, a freestyle skier, and he's a professional trampoline coach. So in very good hands here. We're just getting going on the warm-up. But Ryan, yeah, you were telling me earlier, this is a really good start for people that perhaps have big goals out on the trails or up on the ski slopes. Yeah, why are you so passionate about working here at Airhouse?
Well, yeah, like I said, earlier, I'm a free ride skier, and that's mostly where my passion for trampoline kind of came from, is just because, I mean, doing a backflip on skis is like a huge task, or any sort of trick for that matter. And it's just a much safer way to practice, and you can break down tricks a lot more. I'm sure we'll get into it a little more when we're at the trampolines. And yeah, I mean, it's just helped me so much along my own journey. And that's when I initially got into trampoline, and, just kind of loved it ever since and kept using it for training. And yeah, after a couple of years, started trying to pass along some of the knowledge I gained to other people who might be in similar situations, and, try to avoid people just sort of chucking it when they get to snow or on their bikes or et cetera, where, the consequences can be a lot higher, and the risk of failing a trick or something like that is, a lot more consequential.
Yeah, amazing, Dave. I was super excited to have you guide me. Chatting with you and Paul earlier, you kind of helped me perhaps make my goals a little bit more realistic, or the timeline. I kind of came here with like, hey, I want to learn to backflip today. You explained to me that perhaps there's a safer way of doing that by extending the process out a little bit. What's a more realistic timeline for me going from never done a backflip on a trampoline or in a pool or anything to perhaps being able to backflip on the trampoline and land it safely?
So when it comes to the actual backflip process, it tends to be very quick.
Okay.
So when we're ready for a backflip, going to the finished product, I mean, when it comes to athletes, I've seen it happen in 5 minutes. I've seen it happen over the course of 3 sessions, but typically it's not super long. However, what does take a little bit longer is getting ready, getting the athlete ready essentially to do the backflip. So we typically start out with just trampoline basics. We want to learn how to use the trampoline, use it safely, because a lot of people might come in and have this sort of mindset like, oh, trampolines are soft. It's a really safe way to learn. And I don't necessarily agree with that attitude. I agree it's safer. However, it is still its own sport, and it does require, the same level of respect that would, downhill or dirt jumping or skiing would demand, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of these first sessions is going to be essentially climbing the ladder. So I like to think of trampoline tricks as a ladder. You start off with something very small, the first positions, the basics, everything else, how to use the trampoline, and then you slowly build, add them together. Another trampoline coach who I know always refers to it as like building blocks, right? It's almost like Lego.
Yep.
You kind of put things together and suddenly you make, bigger things. So it's really similar with trampoline. So these first maybe 2 or 3 sessions, honestly, might even just be basics, right? It also, you mentioned timeline, depends how quickly. Some people, you might get it, like some people get it a lot faster than others. So it's really super dependent.
Awesome, dude. Well, it's really cool hearing you talk about the process there. That really helped put me at ease, because I'll be honest, I was a little bit nervous kind of coming here today and getting into it. It's been a little while since I've been on a trampoline.
For sure. And our goal is to just ease you into it, and try to make it as safe as possible. So that's really sort of my job, is to try to promote the best form, make it as safe as possible. Both of us should be comfortable at all times. It should never be, someone's overly scared, as that's, typically when injuries will happen.
Awesome, dude. Well, I'm excited. Should we get back into our warm up and then hit the
Perfect.
tread?
Yeah. I think the last one that we're just missing was we were going to do a few skiers, so kind of ankles and knees. Nice and deep.
That kind of building blocks metaphor you use, that reminds me a lot of mountain bike coaching.
Right, yeah.
Setting the foundations, and then when you get to the actual skill you're trying to work on, that should be easy if you've got the foundations.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, if we were to do a backflip today, it would be like if I were to introduce you to biking in general.
Yeah.
Like, you'd never ridden a bike before. We learn how to ride a bike really quickly. Okay, we're at the Nesters jump, do a backflip.
Yeah,
It's like,
and that's so scary.
Exactly, right? And, we're making a whole series right now about, why you shouldn't do that.
Yep.
Cool. So, yeah, we can head over to the trampoline and we can get started a little bit with the more technical stuff. First things first is just trampoline safety. So, as you might notice, the trampolines we have here at Airhouse look maybe slightly different to the average trampoline you might find in, a backyard or at maybe another trampoline park like Sky Zone or something like that. These are Olympic trampolines. So these are the exact same trampolines you'll find for competitive trampoline in the Olympics. And this is typically where we do most of our learning, as I find they promote the best form. As for safety, number one rule, only one person at a time on the trampolines, unless it's me. And I will make it very clear that I'm coming on your trampoline. It's, going to be a whole thing. But always one at a time. These trampolines are more than powerful enough. There's no need to double bounce anybody. We just try to avoid that at all costs. Otherwise, we have these nice markings on the trampoline. We have that cross right in the middle. We want to try to bounce there as much as possible. Obviously, you're going to deviate a little bit. We just want to our goal is to stay in the middle. As when we bounce on the trampoline, it essentially acts like a bit of a bull. Why don't I get you to jump on the trampoline a little bit? And you can start bouncing around. Start getting used to the feeling of it.
Incredibly bouncy, eh? A lot different to the backyard tramps I grew up on.
For sure. So for right now, just try to keep the bounce height low.
Yeah.
Just get used to the trampoline. Like, you could try to bounce in different spots of it. Just get comfortable with it is the big thing for right now. Nice. So you can kind of feel as you bounce side to side, right? It's trying to push you in the opposite direction. And that's the main reason why we want to try to stay in the middle, is just so that, if we do a trick, we're not going to fly off the trampoline or anything like that.
Right, it makes sense. Yeah. Forgot how fun these things were.
All right. And now another safety or our kind of first skill, I guess we're going to learn is the stop bounce.
Right.
So it's just how we essentially stop our bouncing. The most common way to explain it is like you're riding a motorcycle.
Okay.
So I just want to keep my feet like shoulder width apart, hands in front of me. And then to stop bouncing, you want to ride a motorcycle. So absorb with your knees, push your button back, hands forward. Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Perfect. So try to do that a couple times. Nice. Awesome.
Feedback feels funny, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, right? Takes some getting used to for sure. But yeah, awesome. Looking good. So now why don't you start bouncing at kind of a medium height? And then I'm going to say stop. And then I want you to try to stop bounce at the first given opportunity.
Okay.
Okay. Stop. Nice. Let's maybe do that like one or two more times.
Yeah. Stop test.
Stop. All right. One more time. Stop. Perfect.
Chef.
Awesome. You're looking pretty comfortable. So
It's fun.
without further ado, I think we'll get into our first sort of section of trampoline skills.
Awesome.
So one of the main advantages of trampoline is that we don't have to land on our feet,
Okay.
right? If you think about, taking a mountain bike on a dirt jump, there's one way you can land,
Yeah.
or one way you're supposed to land, at least. That's not going to suck. It's on your wheels facing forward.
Yeah.
Versus on trampoline, we have essentially 5 different main positions we can land on the trampoline. There's a 6th sometimes, but it's pretty rare. And so yeah, the first part is we're just going to be learning those.
Yep.
The reason why those are so helpful is because I can take a rotation like a backflip or a cork 720 and I can break it down into pieces.
Right.
Landing on different parts of my body as intervals. So now this way my brain is sort of getting used to what the set is going to feel like, what certain part of the flip is going to feel like. And that's what we call progressions.
Amazing.
So our first landing position
is going to be a seat drop. You want to start in the middle. All you're going to do is pick your toes up, land in a seated position.
Okay.
So the position looks like this, hands on the trampoline, feet straight in front of me. Try to lean a little forwards just so that you don't end up going backward like that.
I see, yeah.
You'll see some seat drops.
Okay.
Nice. There we go. We can even keep it a little lower for now.
Okay.
Just while we're still getting comfortable with it. Try to fully close your feet up so you're just like, kind of heels are touching. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. Feeling good with that one?
Yeah, it feels good.
Okay, perfect. Next one is going to be the hands and knees position.
Okay.
So really common, you'll see on like backyard trampolines, people doing this.
Yep.
We want to avoid this at all costs on these sort of trampolines, or I mean, honestly, on any sort of trampoline.
Right.
Just because if I land like this and I'm not balanced, one of the really common things we'll see is people fall backward like this.
Okay.
And that really sucks.
Yep.
So what we do to counteract that is we just put our hands down on the trampoline as well.
Right.
We want nice, even pressure. So it'll almost feel like you're doing a push-up. You can go really low for this one to start. And yeah, just get used to it.
That's awesome.
So you notice I had maybe a little bit of trouble coming up there?
Yeah, was that because I was fully extended?
Not because you were fully extended. You just didn't quite put enough pressure through the arms on the way back up.
Right.
So you want to push with those hands to get yourself back up.
Okay, thanks.
There we go. Nice. Awesome. Looking
Okay,
solid.
that's feeling better. Yeah.
Cool. And now why don't we just kind of test your comfort zone with those two?
Yep.
And we'll just put 2 and 2 together.
Sounds good.
And we'll start pretty low. We'll start in seat drop and we'll try to pick our knees up, kick our feet behind us to
Okay.
hands and knees. And you can try to rock back and forth between the two positions.
Awesome.
Give that a shot. So pick the knees up, feet back. There we go. Nice. And then kick them back forward.
The last one was a bit.
Yeah, a little trouble with the balance there. That's okay. I mean, you're still getting used to the trampoline. So that sort of stuff we'll just iron out with mileage.
Okay, awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
But are you feeling good with that?
Yeah, feeling pretty good with that. Yeah.
Want to move on to the next one?
Awesome. Yeah.
So the next one is one of the more higher risk landing positions. It's not something we'll typically use too often. We do use it on some progressions.
Right.
It's the stomach drop.
Right. Yep.
So here, if you want to actually, you can lay down next to me on the floor. Yeah, let's lay down on our stomach. So the landing position for this one, we want to start off by making a triangle with our fingers,
Okay.
placing that right in front of our face. And then we want to try to push our elbows far out so that our armpit is almost touching the ground. Then the last step is just feet up like that.
Okay.
And this is our landing position for the stomach drop. So how we'll start with this is we'll just go to that hands and knees position.
Yep.
And we'll try to bounce up and down just really lightly like this. And when you're ready, you can kick your feet back, put your hands into that triangle position, and land down into your stomach drop.
Awesome. Man, this is cool. I love when you come with this goal, but you have no idea of the steps involved.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. I had no idea I was going to be doing these moves today.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, this
It's so
is
cool.
the base of everything, right?
Yeah.
So, being able to do these landing positions is just as important as landing on your feet.
Right.
Because all of the progressions we're going to do through backflip
Yeah.
involve each one of these landing positions.
Amazing.
So you can just start like really low, just get on your hands and knees, bounce up and down, make sure you're at a really controlled height. And when you feel good, you can drop down to your stomach. Nice. Nice, those are looking good.
Do you think about breathing at all when you do this stuff? I noticed
Oh,
the first
man,
two,
I
I was
don't-
holding my breath and making a weird grunt.
Yeah,
It'll
I don't
easier when
really
I started
think about
exhaling.
breathing too much when I do it, but
Yeah.
then again, I've been doing this since I was pretty young, so
Sure.
I would imagine you do want to keep breathing. You don't want to hold your breath.
Generally
Maybe
helps,
when you're
eh?
on the trampoline hitting, because you need to tense a little bit.
Yeah.
So maybe holding your breath as you hit the trampoline, but trying to continually breathe in between. Nice.
Here, well, I mean, you have plenty of height right now, so I'd be comfortable moving on to the next step if you are.
Okay, awesome. Yeah,
Which is our first trick where we're going to use the mat. So how we use the mat for most tricks is going to be, we're going to place it in the middle of the bed like this. We want to try to stay in the same spot. And yeah, from here, we'll try a stomach drop from our feet. How I want to do that is just sort of pick my knees up like this, almost into a tuck position,
right.
and then kick my feet back.
Okay.
So yeah, overall it'll look like this. You can just go really low, get ready, kick the knees up, kick the feet back into that stomach drop position.
Nice.
It's okay if you don't go back up to your feet right away, but just kind of getting into that position comfortably is what's going to be really important right now.
Awesome. Okay.
So yeah, you can just go super low. Awesome. That was perfect.
Okay, it's coming back to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Having that
Nice.
mat there helps a lot, I think. Just for
Yeah, for
confidence.
sure, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. And let's do one more. Perfect. Okay. So I think you're looking good to take the mat away.
Okay, wait, let's give that a go.
Yeah. Keep it low for the first ones. Nice. So yeah, definitely a bit of a difference, going from the mat to
Yes,
the trampoline.
different
You get a
feel.
lot more feedback, right?
I noticed there's some like subconscious fear going on because that first one I grunted again.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
realized I was holding my breath
I
like
see.
as I hit the tramp.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like it's definitely a lot more scary without. And yeah, it is like probably one of our more high consequence landing positions,
Right. Okay.
just because our body doesn't bend backwards well.
Makes
So
sense.
if I land hip heavy or chest heavy, it doesn't feel very good.
Right.
I just did it the other day on the super tramp and like kind of been dealing with a tweaked neck
Oh, no.
since.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, we're really trying to land just fully belly flop, right?
Okay.
Everything all at once from our chest down to our knees.
Yep.
And if you get that good and you're not moving back and forth, super comfortable.
Okay. Awesome.
Awesome. So here, for the moment, could actually get you to bounce lower
Yep.
and jump higher into the stomach drop. You can
Okay.
even start with no bounce in if you want. But the
I see.
goal is just to jump away from the trampoline, right? And, you know, as a mountain biker, you know this is popping,
Right. Yep.
right?
Okay. Makes sense.
So essentially, we're just trying to pop into the stomach drop. So you can start at nothing, and then we're just going to jump into the stomach drop.
Okay. Cool.
Nice. Awesome. Try to pick those knees up a little more on the way in. Knees up. There we go. How are the elbows feeling?
Feeling good. I can
Yeah,
feel
yeah?
that shoulder a little bit when I land,
Oh, okay.
but it's not too bad.
Okay, cool. If it gets bad, we can go back to doing it with the mat too.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, just let me know however you're feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, how you feel with that?
Feel good. Yeah.
Yeah, feeling
Yeah.
good?
It's certainly like scary at first, but after getting a couple of reps, it feels okay.
Definitely. This one is probably, I'd say, the second scariest landing position. But yeah, it's a bit of a learning curve to do at first, especially because, like, you know, our body wants to try to protect our
Yes.
torso. We don't want to hit stuff with it.
Right.
So
Makes sense.
bit of a learning curve there.
Yeah.
If you want to try to challenge yourself a little bit more with that one,
Oh yeah.
is it all good if I jump on?
Yep.
You can try doing seat to stomach.
Okay. Yep.
For the first one, I'd probably recommend just doing seat, hands and knees to stomach,
Yep.
just to kind of get used to that feeling.
Right.
And then if that feels good, you can go seat, pick the knees up, kick the feet back,
Ooh.
land in a stomach drop. And if it ever feels like it's a bit sketchy, maybe you're a little under rotated, a little over rotated,
Yep.
just go hands and knees.
Okay. That's
Right? It's
exciting.
right there available to you. You can just go, oh, this isn't feeling great.
Okay.
Go to your hands and knees.
Awesome.
Nice. Dude, you're super dialed.
It's all starting to come back. As a kid in Australia, we had like 2 big trampolines in our backyard
Oh,
and a
nice.
big tree we used to jump out of onto the trampolines.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure I did. Did some of these moves, but
Yeah,
not in a refined, safe way, of course.
for sure. And I mean, that's what we're really going for, is just like, especially with these early ones,
Yeah.
is getting a lot of technique, right? Because the thing is, anything we skip or any technique we kind of gloss over with this will translate to your backflip.
Okay.
Right?
Fantastic. Yeah.
So we just try to learn everything, try to learn it once and properly the first time. Sometimes we need to revisit it.
Yeah.
But just the more detailed we are with the steps before, and the more we are good with like the better we are with form, the easier time it's going to be and the less time it's going to be for the next goals, right?
Awesome. Yeah.
So the last one we're going to talk about is backdrop. This one does tend to be the scariest. We'll use the mat.
Okay.
And honestly, for your first couple, I mean, you mentioned you've done backdrop backflip before. Like, how do you feel with backdrop? Has it been a while? Maybe
Backdrop's fine.
backdrop's fine.
Backflip, I'd have to remember how to do that. So that's what I need
Okay,
to
yeah.
get off.
No, for sure. Why don't right now we just do just a pure backdrop?
Yep.
Is it all good if I just, get you to jump on, see what you see what you remember?
Give it a go.
So yeah, starting in the middle of the mat, trying not to move forward or backward, keep it nice and low. Nice.
Cool. It's getting up part I have problems with.
For sure, yeah. Here, do a couple of those.
Right. And let it get.
Awesome.
How's that working?
Nice, yeah, looks good. There's a couple things I do want to change about it before we move on to doing it without the mat.
Great.
Firstly, your legs. So I'm noticing you're kind of picking up your leg through your knee like this.
Yep.
Just try to keep your legs straight.
Okay.
And we want kind of the bottom, like the Airhouse logo on the bottom of your socks, pointed up to the ceiling.
Okay.
So.
I see.
And then secondly, it's your head. So a lot of people think naturally to pick their head up off the trampoline like this and tuck their chin in. The problem with that is you really need to keep your neck up, and you kind of have to strain your neck to do it. So what we want to do is we want to just kind of turn the back of our head into part of our back.
Right.
So we want to land with our head as well on the trampoline. So to do that, just try to keep your head straight up and look all the way up to the ceiling. So all in all, just like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, nice. Looks good.
It feels different, but it feels good.
Gives you a little bit more control off your back, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's easier to get back up onto the feet.
For sure, because you were also a lot on your lower back.
Right.
But by putting your head on the trampoline, it also put your shoulder blades onto the trampoline. The more surface area we got, the more we're going to have control over that way back up.
Nice.
Awesome. Do you feel good with that?
Yeah, that feels good.
Cool. Want to take the mat away?
Yep.
There we go. So again, just start low for the first ones. The trampoline's going to have a lot more power now.
Right.
So we can start low. Just be ready for the kick on the way back up. Awesome. Looks good.
It's feeling good now. Yeah. Really good tips. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Here, let's do a little bit of twisting. So if I can jump on, I just want to see you do it in both directions. Try to keep your chin up. Good method to twist on trampoline, kind of like our pure twisting method, is we go arms out, feet out a little bit, and in the air, we pull the body all together, back out when we want to slow down. So eyes up. Just a couple 180 twists.
Awesome.
Nice.
Whoop.
So here, I'm noticing your feet are staying apart.
Yeah.
Which means you're actually pushing a lot into the set, right? We're just twisting a 180. We can pretty much give it nothing.
Okay.
And pulling our body together is going to speed it up enough.
I see.
Yeah. So that we're going to twist around, right? Yeah, there we go. Nice. If you want to up it to 360, you can.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, awesome. Nice and balanced.
Somewhat. I feel a bit uncoordinated, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, honestly, compared to most like adults that I coach, like
Right.
starting off with spinning, usually there's a lot more like of a dropped shoulder, starting to rotate off axis. You actually look really balanced for
Okay. That's
most
good
of my
to hear.
lessons. Nice.
It's fun.
There you go. Looking
It's
good.
tempting to go
Yeah.
further.
Feeling good?
Yeah.
Cool. So the next part of our progression or our early tricks, our trampoline basics, is adding twisting with those drops.
Okay.
Right? So we do a bunch of different combinations of twisting with the drops. And then from there, we kind of gain the skill set in order to do flips.
That's it.
So the first one we're going to do is we're going to go back to that seat drop actually. And we're going to try to do a seat drop 180 up.
Okay.
So really common thing I see with seat drop 180 is this. So people try to start the 180 too early
Okay.
while their feet are still up.
Right.
We want to actually stand up first and do the twist second. So what I want to do is I want to drive my feet back down to the center of the trampoline and then twist on the way up.
Yeah.
That can be a little bit awkward at first. So a good way to kind of start it or start off is just doing a half turn. So stand up, then you can do a half turn like that. And it's really easy to keep yourself straight up. And then you can build into trying to do the full 180 if you like.
That's really cool. I like that second option because honestly, at first I was like, oh, I'm not sure I can visualize myself doing that.
It's definitely tricky at first because now we're introducing sort of what's called tilt twisting.
Okay. Cool. Let's give it a go.
Nice.
Yeah, that feels okay. We'll try the other way.
So yeah, do you have a natural twisting direction?
Yeah, left.
Left? Okay, perfect. Nice. So I'm noticing your feet are coming to a bit of a diagonal.
Okay.
Try to focus less on the twist. Focus more on standing up first. Keep your eyes forward, bring your heels down.
Right. Then twist.
Then twist.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, because where we want to generate a lot of that twist is through our hips.
Okay.
Right? It's through the extension of our hips that we're starting that twist.
Right.
So our feet need to come down first, and then those hips kind of push out
Okay.
like this.
Yep.
And that's where we generate the twist.
Okay.
So hips out. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Try to push those hips all the way out. They don't have to be here, but yeah, there we go. Just kind of full extension, like pencil. Yeah, nice. There we go. Looks good. Awesome. Should we do the inverse? Are you good to move on to the next one?
Yeah, let's do that.
Cool. So the opposite is going to be the next one we're going to do. So 180 into a seat drop.
Yep.
And as you can imagine, given what we just learned about the seat drop 180 up, this isn't what we're going for. It now reverses.
Okay.
Right? So my feet are still like, we call it the flip rotation. So technically going to seat drop is a flip rotation.
Yep.
Because I'm rotating backward.
Okay.
So we want to start with that flip rotation. I'm driving those heels backward a little bit, just to about here, and then twisting into the seat drop. So kick the heels backward and twist into the seat drop.
Okay, cool.
Just trying to avoid this one, right?
Right, yeah. So you almost go forward first and then twist into the backwards.
Really lightly though.
Yep.
Because if I kick too much,
Yep.
then I'll go into 180 to back.
Okay, yeah.
So I just want a little bit of kick backwards. I'm in the air now. Twist.
Okay, cool.
So you see that might have been a little much, right? You almost went to
yeah.
back there.
Okay.
Nice. I'm noticing you're still on the trampoline and you're leaning a little forward.
Is that...
Just try to stand straight up, right? It's just through the feet. It's just those feet coming back a little. Yeah. A little bit more control there, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Cool. Now we're going to try to essentially put them together.
Okay.
We're going to start moving towards a trick called a swivel hip.
Sweet. That sounds cool.
So the whole swivel hip looks like this. It's a seat drop, 180 to seat drop again.
Sweet.
So what we'll do to start off is let's just go with a seat drop 180 like we were doing before. And then right away into a really low seat drop.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So now we're just adding one bounce into the whole trick. Seat drop, 180 up. And then, yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Nice. Do that a few times. 180 up, seat drop. Perfect. Okay. All right. So now I'm just going to add something you're going to do with your hands.
Okay.
We call it, I always tell kids when I'm teaching this trick, you're painting a rainbow with your arms. So you like to spin twist to the left, right?
Yep.
So you want to start with your hands on the tramp here. You're in a seat drop, right? So your hands are down here.
Yep.
When you go up, you're going to put your hands up, drop your left shoulder back, and then your hands are going to come back down.
Okay.
So yeah, nice. Try to bring those arms straight up first. So you're up here, over, down. Straight arms fully. So here, you can watch me from the front. Up, over, down.
Okay.
You can even feel it if you do it, try it on the trampoline. Like that arm movement will twist you around. You can give that a shot.
Awesome. Thanks.
Just up, over, down. Up, over, down. Nice. Practice that a few times. Try to make it fluid, right? Yeah, there we go. Nice. Awesome. That's good. All right, so now just try to add that arm movement into that seat drop 180 to seat drop.
Awesome.
So we're gonna go seat drop, hands go all the way up, seat drop,
Okay.
right? Seat drop, hands up,
Then seat drop, right?
seat drop.
Okay.
Nice. Seat drop. Nice. Try to land with your hands. Oh, sorry.
We'll delete that
So
one.
here, when you do the seat drop, when you do the seat drop,
Yeah.
try to go around and you're gonna land on your feet with your hands up.
Oh, I see.
And then on your way down, you're gonna go
And the hands go
put
down.
those hands back down, right?
Okay. Thanks.
Nice. And then back
That
down.
makes more sense. Cool.
Awesome. There we go. Nice. Try to keep your chest
Yep.
a little more forward in your seat drop.
Okay.
I'm noticing when you're taking off from it, your chest is a little backwards.
Yep.
And it's making you kind of rotate like this,
Okay.
which is going to make it difficult to go back into a seat drop
Right.
for the full
that makes
thing.
sense. Thank you.
So just try to keep that weight a little more centered. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, nice. Okay. Kind of understanding like the idea of it.
Yeah, that's starting to. I think I'm starting to feel it.
Okay, perfect.
Thinking less on those.
If
last
you're
few.
if you're starting to feel it, you can go for the full thing. All you're gonna do is that same beginning, and then if you feel good, instead of landing on your feet, all you're gonna do is just keep picking those toes up.
Okay. Good.
So, same seat drop, 180 hands up, keep picking the feet up.
Okay.
Right? We'll do it one more time. 180, keep picking the feet up. You drop 180 up. Nice. Okay. Unfortunately, I got to cut it there. I have
Yeah,
a
of course.
lesson starting
You did
soon.
another lesson.
But yeah, it was really nice to meet you.
Man, that was awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, it felt like such a good pace.
right?
And-
Yeah, and I mean, like, we're just trying to get into it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He's into it, comfortable for the trampoline.
Yeah.
Then we learn that backflip, should go fast, should go safely.
Amazing. Yeah,
All
this
right.
has been so cool. Like such
Yeah.
good feedback. You're just on
Oh,
point.
thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm excited for the next one.
yeah, exactly. And hopefully we'll get to move on to, some more advanced ones. We'll
Yep.
keep on going, see how long it takes us, but we'll get you to backflip for sure.
Amazing, dude. Well, this has been great.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Well, it was nice to meet you.
You as well.